Is Monique Robles. I am the President and CEO of the Pomona Chamber of Commerce. Today, this forum is presented by the Pomona Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to give a very special thanks to Fuego, Metro Event Center, for hosting us today. Thank you so much. Last minute, we did have a change of venue, and thank you so much to Daniela, Gonzalo, and Danny for accommodating us tonight. I also want to just make some announcements, some house cleaning rules. The restrooms are located to my right, your left, in the back by the staircase. Also, please be respectful of the candidates. So this is a non-partisan forum. We want to make sure that every candidate has an opportunity to speak. So while they are speaking, we do ask that you are respectful for them, towards the candidates. On behalf of the Pomona Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, we welcome you all for attending. If I could just get some hands raised, those of you that are from the Board of Directors for the Pomona Chamber. We have Ms. Renee Barbie, who is our Secretary of the Board. We have our Vice Chair, Josh Landis, and then Daniela as well. She's on our Board of Directors. Do we have anybody else? All right, so we'll go ahead and continue on. I'd also like to make mention that this program is going to be recording, so we do have a camera recording the whole forum. It will be posted on YouTube tomorrow afternoon, so give us about 24 hours. You will first see it on our social media, and then Monday morning we will have it posted on our website. So you can either go to PomonaChamber.org Monday morning, or visit, you guys should be following us anyways, Instagram, Facebook, but you will see it first there in its entirety. At this time, what I'd like to do is invite Mr. Josh Landis, our Vice Chair for the Pomona Chamber of Commerce. He is also going to be your moderator tonight. So let's welcome Josh Landis.
Good afternoon, everyone. As the moderator, I'll do my best to ask as many questions as possible. I'll pose questions that are fair and we do not single out any specific candidates. Please note that personal attacks will not be tolerated. Is that better? Okay. So candidates, please note that personal attacks will not be tolerated. All right. Violators will be subject to dismissal, and this includes during your opening and closing statements. We ask that you stick to the issues and nothing more. So as a bit of background, the City of Pomona was incorporated in January of 1888 as a council city manager form of government. Pomona has a population of just over 160,000 people and occupies an area of 22.8 square miles. It has approximately 39,000 households. The City Council is composed of a mayor and 6 members representing 6 precincts or districts throughout the city. Each council member is elected by the voters in his or her district. Tonight's forum is meant to showcase the mayoral and council candidates and to hear from each of them about their plans for the city should they be elected. Just a little bit of flow about the forum. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. 2-minute response will be allowed for questions directed to a specific candidate. Also, each candidate will have 3 minutes for a closing statement in reverse order of opening statements. Our timekeeper will notify the candidates of the remaining time available at 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and stop. Stop means you have run out of time, so please finish your sentence. Failure to comply with the time restrictions will result in you disqualified from participation in tonight's forum. Our candidates tonight are in numerical order by council districts and alphabetical order by name. We begin with the mayoral race. So at this time, the mayoral candidates, Veronica Rivera and Freddie Rodriguez, please come up to the stage.
The mic closer.
So for the first round, we begin opening statements with Veronica Rivera, followed by Freddie Rodriguez.
Just press it.
Hold it down close.
Hello? Yeah? Hi, my name is Veronica Cabrera, and as you see, I am running for mayor as well as Mr. over here. Thank you for being here, Mr. And I am a real estate agent. here in Pomona. I have been a real estate agent since 2005. Being a small business owner, always independent, working for myself since 1996. Never worked for anyone, so I know what independence is. I live here in Pomona and I'm by myself, but that means that I have 2 children and they are grown, they are gone. So it's just me, that's why I have so much time to do this. And the reason, I'm new in Pomona. I've been here barely 3 years. And for me, the condition of the city is unacceptable. And when they question me, like, why am I doing this if I'm new? Well, I think if I get to be here for 10 years or longer, I will be part of it. So I can't do that. I just can't accept that. And that's the reason why I'm running. I'm an independent. I'm not going with any political parties. I am financing my own campaign. I haven't received any funds. I do not support any groups or institutions being supported candidates because I see a conflict of interest. If anyone does it, they should do it by their own weight, cost and weight. So that way they have loyalty to the people and just to the people. Otherwise, the personal interests are going to be reflected when they are in the seat. I still have more time?
About 15 seconds.
Oh, those are long, 2 minutes. Well, that's mainly it. Hopefully, when I have my time for the questions, I can add some more. Thank you.
Well, hello and good evening. I want to thank the Chamber and everybody for joining us here today on this important time where we can talk about issues and the candidates here in the city of Pomona. With that said, obviously a lot of you folks know me, born and raised in the city of Pomona, raised a beautiful family of 4. I have my wife and one of my daughters here joining us here today as well. But when we talk about the forum here, especially for the position of mayor, this was not something I was thinking of doing. This came to me very last minute by a lot of individuals from the city of Pomona, business owners, representatives, saying that, you know, Pomona needs to go in a different direction. If you drive and see what you see on the city, that's not Pomona. Pomona definitely needs a change. We're really urging you, hopefully you consider to vote to run for office, and that's something I considered, right? Thinking about it, and you're right. You know, you drive around the city of Pomona, what do you see? The issues of crime, homelessness, housing, trash. Things need to go in a different direction. Currently, that's a reflection of the current leadership of the city, and that's why I decided to run. I have nothing to lose, and once again, I'm in this to make Pomona a better place, to make the really necessary changes, to take Pomona in a different direction, and really take a very tough approach on crime, homelessness, and housing. And really, it starts at City Hall. It starts with the mayor and the electeds. Hold folks accountable for the actions, right? We got to look back at what is our city doing and why we're doing what we're doing, and really be able to look back at the end of the year, the end of our term, and say, you know what, we made Pomona a better place, not a worse place, right? So I want to do what I can to make Pomona a better place, but I can't do it by myself. I need people like yourselves out there that really want to vote for change. If you want to see change happen, then I'm just an option on the ballot. And with that, thank you very much for your time and consideration. And with that, we'll go back to the moderator.
All right, thank you. As a chamber, we put together a list of questions, but a little closer. As a chamber, we put together a list of questions, but we do like to shake it up a little bit. So this question is off the list of approved questions. So the position of mayor will sometimes require you to think outside of the box. The first question to kick off this discussion is about the advancement of technology with rapid growth of artificial intelligence and programs like ChatGPT. We want to think maybe time travel could be something that happens. So the very first question is to Mr. Arellano. If you could travel back in time to any era, where would you go and why? These are the hard-hitting questions the city wants to.
I just want to reflect back on my childhood, being born and raised in the city of Pomona, the things I've been walking as a kid through here, the old mall, right, that was here, the Newberries, all those little stores that it was very unique to Pomona at the time, the Fox Theater and everything it brought to the city. So go back to when I was a kid growing up in Pomona. I have a lot of memories and dreams of growing up here and being a product of my environment. So I guess I was born in 1965, so I guess in the 60s era, so to speak.
Same question to you. You can try it back this time.
Can it be in the future?
And you can travel to any time.
Oh, thank you very much, because I don't want to go back. It's been difficult enough to get here, so I definitely don't want to go back. I will move forward. Even just 5 years from now, I see big time, huge potential, a lot of potential in Pomona. Definitely we can have any changes if we keep doing the same thing. But even in 5 years, we can achieve so much. Was the question just that? Like
Yeah.
travel the time?
Yeah, it's more just a fun kickoff. It's another thing.
No, wait. If we keep running the city, when I stop, if you guys keep running the city the way it is, don't expect any changes, obviously. Nothing is going to happen, but it's going downhill. If you make the switch, unbelievable things can happen. The first thing we need to change is the mentality. When I started going to the city meetings, I would laugh, I wouldn't laugh because I have some respect, but I couldn't believe what I see. Everything is so beautiful, rainbows and all wonderful, and I go out on the street and I go, what are they talking about? It does happen just in the city hall. So, can keep that mentality. And another thing, with all due respect, but if anyone who's been in the government already and the city is like this, excuse me, but I think it's time to let somebody else try to do something better, because that's proven. Actions speak louder than words.
Our first real question to kick off. Pomona is a large city with areas of concern. The role of mayor to be full-time and present daily is important. We all know you cannot be everywhere at once and sometimes have to select attending things based on your available schedule. If elected, what is your plan to balance the many duties required to be mayor, and how do you navigate when you have conflicting calendar events? So we'll kind of rotate back and forth, so we'll start with Ron.
Thank you. Full-time job, but not paid. So it has to be really because you feel like doing it. I guess that's why it's been created, because a public servant who really wants to serve would not do it for the money. So, but yet it takes a whole bunch of dedication to change. As I mentioned, I have always been independent business owner. We have to do so much with our little time. Wear all different hats here. We are creative. We can do this. How would I leverage to be in different places at the same time? Well, definitely organizing myself, planning, assigning tasks to the different people that could help. Not trying to do everything by yourself, but always supervising. And that's it?
Yes, and how do you navigate conflicting calendar events?
Organizing and giving priority to the most important things. The way it has worked for me is I tend to not to do just the urgent things first, but like the easiest and shorter time. So I do a whole bunch of things and I leave the heavier stuff to the end so I can advance. That's actually the way we can move super fast.
Thank you.
So with that said, obviously we know that the charter doesn't really designate the mayor as full-time, but we all know it is a full-time job. And I think my previous experience as a council member several years ago, having a full-time job, I was able to balance that with my work schedule and my family duties at home. People got to realize we do have families. I'm a father, a grandfather, a brother, and I have those duties as well. But nevertheless, Pomona is very dear to my heart, and I think it takes a dedication with the mayor, the electeds, and organizations like yourselves and others to really tackle the difficult challenges we lie ahead in the city of Pomona. It's going to be a lot of work. Things are not going to happen overnight, but it comes back to dealing with relationships, building those relationships with folks that really want to invest in Pomona, to take Pomona in a different place. But I need everybody's help, right? The mayor cannot do this job alone. He needs help from his colleagues on the council and maybe other electeds as well at the state, the federal, and the county level to help address some of the issues that we're currently facing, because there are a lot of issues here. We can't do it alone. But rest assured, I've done it before as a council member and when I worked in the ambulance company, and still looking back now as a state lawmaker, doing what we're doing from Monday through Thursday in Sacramento, and really doing a lot of things that we do here in the district with the cities I represent, right? So it's very challenging, but it's how you balance your schedule to make sure that you'll be present at all the important things. And sometimes you can't be there, right? Because a lot of things happen at the same time. But it's how you categorize stuff, what's important to be there, to show your face and give your input on how we can make Pomona a better place. So thank you.
Thank you. So the second question, and if you saw this front page of Blog Post today, right, we have the city manager there. So the position of city manager within a city is vital to the overall success of the community. In your view, did the city manage its separation with the city manager appropriately, including the negotiated severance pay? And then a follow-up to that is, what do you feel is the most important quality in a successful city manager, and how will you work with the newly appointed city manager to support them in their role?
So obviously with that said, I wasn't part of the negotiations or what happened with the previous city manager. I don't want to look back, but want to look ahead. I think we have to look at what's happening right now in Pomona in the future. Really, to me, a city manager has to be somebody that's really vested in the city, not just in the position of city manager, but you really have to care about it. One thing I would like to say is I really want to work hard with our city manager to really address the tough issues in Pomona, right? I don't want to be working with somebody that says, well, Freddie, we can't do this, we can't do that. No, then maybe you're not the right city manager, right? I want to take a tough approach and handle the tough issues that we're facing, right? And it's going to take the city manager and the city staff to help us get to where we need to get, right? Because once again, that is a very important position, and that person really has to care about the issues in Pomona. Because once again, you see what you see out there on the streets. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of challenges, but be rest assured that I really want to work hand in hand with that city manager and really make those necessary changes, right? And once again, it's not going to happen overnight. But with a dedicated city manager and city staff, we can make those necessary changes to take Pomona in a different direction.
But what do you feel is the most important quality?
And the city manager is somebody that's knowledgeable, that has experience, and that really has a proven track record of dealing with issues that we're dealing with right now. I think without them, it's going to be a little challenging for us. But once again, when I was on the council, the previous city manager did a good job. We addressed a lot of the issues. Moving forward, I hope that this new city manager really sees the same, has the values of really making life better in the city of Pomona for everyone.
Great.
I definitely don't think that they handle the other manager situation right. In the first place, I don't miss one meeting. If I don't stay, I watch it later on, and I never heard them talking about it. So people didn't know. All of a sudden, we learned by the news he's gone. A whole bunch of money paid. Excuse me, but I never heard of anybody getting paid that much money just because of leaving the job or finishing the contract. One. Second, so mainly that. Regarding the qualities of a manager, it needs to be honest, an honest person, hardworking, and care for the people. You can have somebody, even as elected or employees of the city, with all the qualifications, but not caring for the people. That's not going to work. Even if they're employees, because when they talk to people, their job needs to reflect. That's mainly apart from being able to run a business. But the most important thing that we have to keep in mind in here is that the city mayor, the mayor and the council, they are actually the ones in charge of the city. You guys elect those people to run, to make sure to do with the city what the people need, not the city manager. That's a big time misconception right there. When I started going to the meetings and I saw that it seems like The manager runs the city, the employees run the city, not the city council. The employees would tell the bosses what to do, and they would say yes, and they present it any way they want. Would you let your employees run your business? Or your lady in the house run your house?
And we'll keep the microphone. So the next question, many business owners live and work within the city of Pomona. They have expressed concerns over frequent vandalism to their businesses by the unhoused community. These issues have caused huge financial setbacks for many, and the presence of this type of activity is a deterrent for customers entering their businesses. What would you do to improve public safety for the business community to prevent them from closing their businesses or leaving to another city?
Thank you. I identify myself with the small businesses big time. As I mentioned, I've been a small business owner, creating different businesses. It's not just one for 30 years. So I know the struggles, and I have walked the streets, the old main streets at least a couple of times. I know, I always feel so bad for them because I know what it takes. You know, sometimes you have to work 7 days and have expenses in the house, whatever it takes to keep the doors open. Yes, because I talk to small businesses a whole bunch, a lot. I know that one of the complaints is the conditions of, the people in the street. They come and they're not looking good. They get in the business. They start screaming. The Starbucks business, that closed. I went like 2-3 times and I never went back because it was not ready to be in that Starbucks. And now they closed. I get it. So how to handle? We have to take care of the problem with the people in the house in a just way. This is super doable. We can leverage everything instead of going the hard way. For instance, when they're going to talk about housing, I'll explain, but we have to take care of those people, and that obviously will reflect in not just the businesses, but the citizens themselves, the appearance of the city. To do that, the government has a social responsibility that is not compliant. I know that the city, there are ways, and there's money. The money is not the problem. The intention is the problem. It seems like they try to keep the homeless and the poor because it's lucrative. So it's doable with the same resources, housing, healthcare, and jobs.
So with that, I think we really have to work with our police officers in the city of Pomona. They have to they have to feel that our electeds, from the mayor to the council, really have their back. When I say that, it's tough out there being an officer in law enforcement right now. And as some of you may know, my son is a deputy sheriff in LA, and just see the struggles he faces doing his job day in and day out. It's a reflection of myself as an elected official to make sure that we do our best possible to show support for our men and women in law enforcement, because it's tough being an officer nowadays, and I think the struggles in Pomona once again fall back on the city to make sure that our police officers out there know that their electeds have their back, that we're working them together, give them resources, and don't tie their hands at doing their job right. They need to be knowing that we're there for them, we're going to fight the fight with them, and really take that tough approach on crime, because if not, we're going to continue seeing what we're doing, and really we can kind of look at the root cause of some of these issues, the homelessness, the housing issues, right? Look at how we can really address all those issues, and I think Pomona already has a good program with the OATH program, right, that's out there doing what they're doing to address these issues of homelessness and some of the housing issues with that, and the mental health component as well. So if we can expand more on that OATH program and other programs like that to really see how we can address these issues of the homelessness and the folks out there that are doing what they're doing, right? Once again, it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of help, and some funding, right? How we can address those real issues. But once again, our officers have to know that we have their back, and we're going to help them as best we can to make sure they have the necessary resources to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, affordable housing is a controversial topic for residents and property owners. What is your opinion on housing production and the type of housing developed in the city? And then furthermore, do you have an opinion on rent stabilization And what is your approach to addressing constituents who are renters in favor of keeping rent affordable while also understanding a constituent who is a property provider to tenants?
Well, with that, obviously, that's a huge issue. We've done a lot of that in and around the state, some legislation at the state level, and I know some cities are doing more than just that, but I think part of the problem, we need more housing, period. How can we bring more housing to Pomona? How we can work with developers and other organizations to think outside the box, to bring houses here in Pomona, make them more affordable across all income levels, right? It's not a one-size-fits-all. Pomona is a very diverse city, very unique, and we need to make sure that we have housing available, not just rentals, but we need to get folks into buying houses, right? It's going to take a lot of work to do that. Jobs, our education level, but people need to be looking at Pomona as a place for opportunity, right? And I think as we talk about rent control, I think we've already done enough of that. Once again, we need to look at the bigger picture, bringing more housing, affordable housing here in the city of Pomona. And the only way to do that is build more of it and work with many folks in this room and others, right, to bring more housing stock to the city of Pomona, to address that issues of rent and getting folks into houses once and for all. Thank you.
So housing, and can you please?
Yes, affordable housing is a controversial topic for residents and property owners. What is your opinion on housing production and the type of housing developed in the city? Furthermore, do you have an opinion on rent stabilization? What is your approach to addressing constituents who are renters in favor of keeping rents affordable while also understanding a constituent who is a property provider to tenants?
Thank you. We are running for city council, city mayor, so we represent the government, we don't represent the private sector. So we have to think like the government. The government has a social responsibility, and we don't have enough houses, obviously, so we need homes. There are 1,700 people waiting, waited up to 7 years for housing assistance. Just right there, that the government is not compliant. That's not even 2% of the population, and the city can't handle that. For some reason, the state of California is demanded Pomona to build up to 15,000. We need 15,000 new homes. Pomona has 24% of the whole land in Pomona belongs to the city. 1/4 of the whole city, we have that much land in Pomona. That belongs to the people. So we have the land. The government has a social responsibility. And the people complain and say, oh, we don't want the government to get involved, but at the same time, the government is helping the private sector with the funding and the land and everything. So the government needs to do its job. The way I propose this is, I don't like privatizing public property. The public property belongs to the people. If you don't have anything, you don't have land, you don't have assets, then you don't own anything. You depend on the private sector to control you. Just what happened with the trash. So we need a lot of homes, but I would say let's just start with the government complying with its obligation and building city-owned homes with our own construction company. I'll get back.
Thank you. And you go on to the microphone for the last question. Diversity is a strength within a community and can lead to positive outcomes through collaboration of personal backgrounds and experience. Are you willing to stand up and protect the rights of all people and designate the city of Pomona as a safe and inclusive space for all? And if so, how would you do that?
Yes. Whole United States is built up, we're known as a nation of immigrants and all different nationalities. So it would be ridiculous not to accept that we have to accept different personalities. Human respect for humans and all individuals is number one. If we don't have that, then the basics are lost. What was the other question?
How would you do that? How would you designate the safe and inclusive space for all?
Giving equal opportunities to everybody. The government is like the law. It's blind to any color, race, religion, beliefs, everything. The government represents everybody the same. That's why when we run for these positions, we're not supposed to be with our political parties, because you don't represent everybody. You don't represent just one group. You don't represent one ideology. You represent everybody. People pay taxes in different ways. Even when people buy this bottled water, they're paying taxes. So everybody has the right to everything. When we start separating people, everybody suffers. So it's good for the whole community to take care of each other. We need to take care, I want to say I have 30 seconds. The way I am proposing to take care of the most critical problem, which is housing, homelessness, is I propose that the city should have a construction company owned by the city. We would create a whole bunch of jobs. We have the land. We could create government-owned properties. That means that we're not selling the properties. That's to the private sector. And healthcare for mental substance abuse.
That concludes all the questions we have. So now, for a closing statement, each candidate has 3 minutes for a closing statement. Because we started with Veronica, we're going to start with Freddie. Okay, sorry. All right. Yes, sorry. Diversity is a strength within a community and can lead to positive outcomes through collaboration of personal backgrounds and experience. Are you willing to stand up and protect the rights of all people and designate the city of Pomona as a safe and inclusive space for all? And if so, how would you do that?
Well, talk about diversity. Look at the room right now. This is the makeup of Pomona, the different backgrounds, nationalities, religions, cultures, and customs. This is Pomona. And I think with that said, I would look to enforce a zero tolerance policy within the city. But once again, I can't do it by myself. With my colleagues on the council, let's address that. Let's put that in statute in the city and really be tough on that, right? Because once again, look at the makeup of this room. As I sit back here and look at all the faces, I see how diverse and unique Pomona is. And let's keep it that way because we all have something important to bring to the city. Our backgrounds, our histories, our cultures, our customs. This is Pomona. Let's protect it and let's enforce it and make sure that that's not going to be tolerated in the city. Any type of racism, anything that's going to hurt the people that live in the city. So that's what I'll do by enforcing a policy at City Hall and make sure everybody likes that.
Thank you. All right, now it's time for closing statements. So 3 minutes on the clock, starting with the
Once again, with that said, I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. I know we have busy schedules, but we do. Early, once again, as I said in my earlier statement, this was not something I wanted to do, was planning on doing, but the huge outcry from many people here in the city of Pomona, talking to me, Freddie, you should run for city council as a mayor. The city is going in a different direction, one that's never been there. And I agree, and that's why I decided to run. Look at what we see outside in our city right now. I think people are tired of seeing the issues, once again, of crime, homelessness, and housing. And who's at fault with that? That's the local leadership of the city, the mayor and the council. We need to take a tough approach to address these real issues, work with our city manager and all the others that are part of Pomona, right? That's the only way we're going to get there. But once again, I can't do it by myself. I'm going to rely on my council members and other folks in the communities, folks like yourself, to take Pomona in a different direction, to be tough on crime, to address those real issues that folks don't want to stand up and address, right? I want to be that person, and hopefully you see it the same the way I see it. If you want change, I'm the option there on the ballot. So with that, thank you all for being here, and I'll hand it over to Ron.
Thank you.
I'm going to add my opinion about rent control. The state of California has already its own law on protected tenants. I don't think it was necessary. I'm super against just because it's a total deceiving action from the city. It's like keeping people, make people believe that they've been helped, but in reality, nothing has happened because what we need is more houses. So that's my opinion about rent control. And another thing is like putting the citizens against, giving the citizens, the property owners, the responsibility to help the tenants. No, that's the government responsibility to help the people in struggle, financial struggle, not the other property owners. So the city, the government is failing its responsibility. Regarding, I believe a lot in the government to, like I mentioned, to have its own assets. If we have a construction company, we can use our land, build homes, help the people in need, the people who are in need. That doesn't mean everybody's going to want to go live for free for the government. But the government has a social responsibility. So we can create jobs. We can buy supplies from Pomona, so the businesses would benefit. We create a whole bunch of jobs. We take care of the people on the street because we would provide healthcare, housing, jobs. So everything stays. We take care of a lot of problems together. And I don't know what else to say. I think that was the conclusion now. So I think that if we do go that route, with a construction company, imagine we buy our trucks, everything else that they tell you that how they're going to do it is a big timeline. If a company can do it, how come a city cannot do it? I mean, use common sense. So with a construction company, imagine having a construction company, our trucks, our people from Pomona, working, repairing the streets all year round. With the same money that they're paying out there for those little jobs, we can be working through the whole year. In a year, you'll have a different Pomona, just with that strategy. Thank you.